have in my hand a dinosaur chewy thing that my dog loves, and I'm going to show you that with any product you have, you can turn it into a great listing image. I'm going to be giving you tips on how you can create good images to put up literally anywhere you want. This doesn't just apply for Amazon, it applies for any online platform. So let's get right into it. Now, I'm firstly going to recommend that you get your hands on Canva Pro. Even if it's not just for product listing images, Canva is amazing for anything that you want to do that is in any way creative, online, anywhere that you need a little bit of like creativity and you want to make something or so forth. Like little bits to put on your website, like album artwork, things like that. Like Canva is awesome for everything creative, especially now that it's got a load of AI tools added into it. I absolutely love using this. I've loved using Canva for years. It's just gotten better and better and better. So I'd highly recommend this to you for creating good product listing images. And this is the photo that I took. Now, some people make the mistake of thinking that you 100% need like a professional backdrop, a professional camera to take a good picture of your product, but that isn't necessarily the case, especially not these days, because phone cameras are awesome. I mean, they literally record movies using phones now. So taking a picture with your phone is absolutely fine. And having a tool like this just means that you don't need to have like a professional backdrop or like a plain backdrop, because I understand that isn't going to be the case in everyone's home. Like, no one's going to have the space to devote to like a proper backdrop. They have to set up and then put away, then set up, then put away, day in, day out. And just having like a plain white wall and like a white surface, it's going to be hard to do. So with something like this, it makes life a whole lot easier. Now, I've not taken the picture anywhere fancy. It's literally on the kitchen counter. And the only thing that I was thinking, though, when I was taking this picture is, where is there going to be adequate lighting? Because you're not going to get a good photo no matter what tips anyone teaches you if the initial photo isn't good. Okay, so you have to take a decent initial photo. And the main thing is just getting good brightness in there. So as you can see, I've taken it in a nice bright spot. There's a window to the right. There's obviously the window to the left on the door. And yeah, so we've got some good lighting for this. I've also positioned it in a way that kind of looks great for the product. Of course, for any product that you are listing, you need to make sure that you are taking multiple pictures, so please bear that in mind. Even for websites where it's not a mandatory requirement, like it's always a good idea to take multiple photos. So for example, if you're listing on eBay, I'd recommend having like 4, 5 photos, 3, 4, 5 photos, something like that. More than 2. Okay, have the products at multiple angles. Even if you think, oh, this photo is pointless, it's me just rotating it a little ways to the left or something like that, it all matters. Because I've had it before where people have asked me, do you have a picture of the item from this angle and so forth and things like that. So, people are very much visual shoppers these days. They want to see exactly what they're getting. They want everything all in one go. They don't want to need to reach out to you to ask for a picture and so forth. So the more pictures you can take, the better the listing's going to be. So let's now crack on with this product listing image. So just a photo right here. And I've done a little bit of enhancement, so I've just gone ahead and tapped edit right here, adjust, and just a couple of little things in here. We don't need to go too overboard with it because the original picture was all right. I just brightened it up a little bit, brought out some of the highlights and so forth. You don't want to tweak these things massively, because if I go ahead and do a load of brightness, it looks terrible. So just a little bit, just to enhance some of those bits, contrast just a little bit, highlights a little bit. So it's all just in very minute amounts when you are adjusting anything like that. Don't throw on like a filter or anything like that, because that can just make the image seem a bit like you're not posting a picture of you for Instagram. It's a product listing image. It's got to be clear. So we have that right here. And another thing as well, like a lot of the time you will just want a plain background, and with Canva what you can do is use the background remover. So you literally just tap that button. Now that's a Canva Pro feature. I would say that Canva Pro is well beyond worth it. Even just for that simple background remover alone, I think it's well beyond worth it. Not to mention all of the other cool bits that you can have with it as well, like access to the pro images and so forth. Like, it's well beyond worth it. And it's quite affordable as well, I would say. But yeah, I've gone ahead and removed the background. I've used edit and the effects just to add just a little bit of shadow, just to make it seem that bit more real and not like I've just slapped it on a white background like that. I think having a little bit of this is good. You don't have to have it like super intense. You can bring it in a bit closer just for that very, very faint outline, which just makes the image pop out a little bit more. As long as you don't go too overboard with the editing and the alteration, because you don't want it to make the product something it's not. And you also still want it to remain clear. So too much in the way of effects will ruin this. Now, sometimes, you can just call it a day there, and that'll be enough for lots of websites, lots of places where you need product listing images. But sometimes you may be able to do something like this where you can, give it a background. Now, I've just gone and chosen like one of the first backgrounds that I saw that is somewhat kind of like relevant to a dinosaur type thing. It might not be the best background. I think maybe there is potentially a better background to choose, but you want your background to be minimalistic. You don't want it to be chaotic. You don't want it to be taking too much away from the item that you have there. So you probably want something maybe a little bit less than that. So maybe something like that, just so that way it's quite clear. Maybe bring it in a tad more, I don't know, but if you are going to go for a background, you just want it to be as minimalistic as possible, but it's just adding seasoning to it. If you treat it like a meal, your main course is your product image, and this background is just the seasoning that goes on top. So optional seasoning. I've seen some listings out there on the internet in lots of places where they kind of turn it into like its own little poster. So like they've used like a fancy font that's sort of like relevant to the thing, and they've gone ahead and given it the title and so forth. Obviously, you're going to do a better title than Dinosaur Thing, the actual title of the product, and a little optional bonus extra for you. If you are going along the lines of something like this, you might want to have your other photos at different angles and so forth, with just a white background afterwards. Or if you are continuing the same theme, to make your listing images somewhat uniformed. What I've seen other people do as well as sort of like rotating the product around different angles and so forth. They've also added in like some of the benefits and so forth. So they've literally turned what is just a straight up image into its own sort of like advert, where you both get the image and some like key points as well, which is quite good as well if people aren't going to read the product description and things like that, because as I say, lots of people shop very visually these days, and the amount of reading that gets done is in the decline. I think there's lots of people that will just straight up ignore a description. I don't know how or why, but you need to also think about that as if you are going to create anything like this. Is there anything I could do to sort of like resolve that problem in case anyone's not going to read the description? If they're just flicking through some of the images, they'll get some of the important details down in the product listing images. So I've got Hours of Fun for Dogs, highly durable and chew mark resistant, made from non-allergenic materials. So benefits there. You want the benefits to seem as beneficial as possible. You don't just want to list some okay things about it. You want them to be like super benefits. What's in it for the customer if they buy that product? Like, what is in it for them? What's in it for the dog in this case? You just want some key bits and pieces that really help the customer to understand that product a little bit more, whilst of course getting a visual feel for the image. So yeah, just to recap, nice bright spot. If you are going to enhance, just a little bit is enough, less is more. The background remover is super useful. It also means as well that you don't necessarily have to worry about like image dimensions as well. So like even if you did take a professional picture with a white background and like a white sort of like cover on the counter there or something like that. So if I gone ahead and done that, and of course my phone will take the image in a certain set of dimensions, and of course if I upload that to something like this, we get the image cut out here. And of course if we go to list it and the dimensions for uploading an image are a bit more square than what a phone does, just off the bat, we don't have to worry about that too much because we've gone ahead and removed that background. So now it's all fine. And of course we can go ahead and put in a background if it's sensible for us to do so, because it won't always be just where you feel that might be necessary. You won't be needing to do anything like this though if you are just joining a listing on Amazon. Photos are already there, you are just joining the listing. The only time that you'll potentially need to do something like this on Amazon is if you are creating your own listing, or like a brand new listing that doesn't currently exist on Amazon. That's when of course you'll need to supply images for it. And you know, other platforms as well, eBay, like your own website if you're making one. It's good to have like really good product images. You can apply a load of these tips to lots of different platforms. Something else as well, I really like using Grok for sort of like AI enhancing the image. Now, you have to be kind of careful with this because sometimes it can go too overboard with the enhancements and it makes the product look fake. So you want it to retain that authenticity, but also, you know, enhance it a little bit. And also it can do cool stuff with the background as well. So this one, it's kind of like that needs a bit of further tweaking, but initially, like, that background's fine. This plate thing that it's sitting on, I think, is pretty cool. Nice work with the shadows there. It's got a little bit of this bottle in the background as well, so obviously we just need to remove that, or get Grok AI to remove it, and we still have the counter there. But to be honest, it doesn't look 1,000,000% out of place there. Like, I think that's still pretty good. But I would probably just, you know, remove this and this. It's a start. Anyway, the point is AI can help you with backgrounds, or like removing the background and just giving it to you on a plain background and so forth. But if you are going to have anything fancy, it can be quite good at that. So just have a play around with it. As I say, you don't want it to look fake. Like the product itself, you want that to still be as real as possible with some minor enhancements. But for backgrounds, you know, I'm really liking Grok. It's a lot faster at generating images, in my opinion, than ChatGPT these days. But then again, I am using the free version of ChatGPT, so maybe that's better on a paid version. But Grok is free, and, you know, right off the bat, I think it's really good for you know, doing image stuff with AI. So yeah, those are some tips for you. Hopefully that's helped you to create a good product image. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you soon.